Welcome back to Why Should This Matter to Me? I'm Ashley, and today we are talking about ethics. In specific, we're talking about ethical fashion. So with that said, we're going to go straight into it. So our brain buster for today, I want you to grab a piece of clothing, mine's my AUT top, and I want you to see who distributed it. So, as you can see, I have AS Color, and I like my tops baggy, that's why it's a 2XL. I want you to keep that brand in mind because you might want to check out how ethical they are when it comes to the fashion industry after this little conversation. So, moving through the Tier Fund, they created an ethical fashion guide. Basically, they acknowledge that there's a lot of unethical practices in places like Bangladesh, India, Cambodia, China, all of those places that we get our clothing made. So they've acknowledged that, and they've decided to put ethical guidelines on companies who exist here or distribute those clothes here in New Zealand. So they broke it down into 5 different parts. Part number 1, worker empowerment. So this looks at the idea of making sure that the workers are getting living wages, because we know in places like sweatshops, they don't get paid the best. So ensuring that worker empowerment is very strong in a factory is really important for a company who is getting their clothes made by them. Other things that fall under worker empowerment is grievance leave, sick leave, all of those things like that we get here and we kind of take for granted in the Western world, but sometimes they don't get over in the poorer areas of the world. Number 2 is knowing your suppliers. That's really important. You need to know where the cotton came from before it became the t-shirt, before it got sold on that rack that you like in a particular store. We need to know how it got there. And for companies, it's important for them to know who their suppliers are and make sure that they're getting paid the right amount, because most of the time they're not. So number 3, policies, code of conduct. Doesn't always exist in other places, that we do have code of conducts here, but for companies who have a code of conduct, it keeps employers accountable and employees knowing what their rights are. Number 4 is auditing. Now, auditing is huge. If someone doesn't let you audit their factory or their workhouse without warning, then obviously there's something wrong and you might not want to be doing business with them. So auditing is number 4, the 4th part of the ethical fashion guide. And number 5 is the difference between having an A+ and potentially the grade that they've got up until that stage. So for AS Color, they actually got a B+, and this isn't exactly what their Tier Fund ethical fashion guide rating would look like, because I haven't drawn it specifically, but it's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. This is obviously the area of improvement that the company needs in order to reach an A+. This area over here is how well they do in worker empowerment. Over here, knowing their suppliers, they're really good with their policies, and they're really good with auditing. So you might want to, what that means is you might want to go take that t-shirt or that company that you saw on your label and go check them out and see how ethical they are when it comes to fashion. And why should this matter to us as marketers? Ethics is everything when it comes to our market. They're more aware of what they want. So let's keep ethics in mind when it comes to marketing clothing, eh? Peace out.